at a Marathon Petroleum refinery in Louisiana. It's in Garyville, Louisiana. Evacuations are being ordered. We have
just ahead, the food, fun, and community of Greek Fest are filling the streets of downtown Rochester. This is a live look at what you can enjoy this weekend. We'll have more on this treasured end-of-summer tradition in just a bit. Plus, online learning became commonplace during the pandemic, but now many families are choosing this. We'll take you to Austin, where enrollment in the district's online school is growing, and Goodhue residents are given a firm commitment from city leaders and county deputies that they will be kept safe even after the entire police department there resigned. Your news at noon starts now.
Live from your local news leader, this is KTTC News.
Good afternoon, I'm Zach Fuller in for Jess. We turn our attention now starting nationally with former President Donald Trump surrendering to authorities yesterday in Georgia, culminating in that unprecedented mugshots of the former president. NBC's Blaine Alexander has the latest from Atlanta.
Well, it was on this very street. In fact, this gate right here behind me was where former President Trump's motorcade entered and exited the Fulton County Jail. He was on property for just 21 minutes, inside the actual building for even less time, less than 20 minutes. Several deputies tell me that that is by far the fastest booking that they've ever seen. Now, once inside, he was fingerprinted, entered booking information, and of course, had that mugshot taken. That is a first in American history to see a former commander-in-chief posing for a mugshot. Now, already his campaign is working to turn that mugshot photo into a campaign and political asset. They're selling T-shirts with the mugshot image and the caption, "Never Surrender." And he even posted on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, for the first time in more than 2 years after his suspension following January 6th. Now, of course, all of this comes as we saw his former White House Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows, also surrender. 19 co-defendants in all of them with a deadline of noon today to turn themselves in. Back to you.
At least 75 Pittsburgh law enforcement officers have been placed on leave after 6.5 hours of standoff and a shootout on Wednesday. The intense situation began when deputies tried to serve a man with an eviction notice. They were met with a barrage of gunfire that sparked a day-long standoff, including numerous exchanges of gunfire. The suspect was later found dead at the scene. The traumatic events led to the sheriff's office, Allegheny County Police, and Pittsburgh Police Department, all placing officers on administrative leave. Allegheny County Sheriff Kevin Krause said he could not count the number of gunfire volleys between the suspects and the officers. Pulling officers from deputy after such an intense incident is standard policy for the agencies. The fact that so many have been placed on leave just goes to show how traumatic the whole incident was for the officers involved. The sheriff's office said each deputy will go through a psych evaluation next week before being cleared to return to work. An update on the policing situation in Goodhue. Goodhue city officials and the Goodhue County Sheriff's Office are telling residents they may see a different car or a different uniform, but the service they will get will be the same. In a town hall that lasted about an hour, Goodhue's mayor, as well as several deputies, spoke to residents, reassuring them that there will be a consistent law enforcement presence within the city. They confirmed that a deputy would be assigned to the city for at least 6 hours a day, while the only real change in service would be where residents would reach out for records and for dispatch services.
We decided we're going to move forward, and we're resilient. And one thing that we want to express in Goodhue, you cannot take the good out of Goodhue.
You'll see very little change in response time, very little change in response. See us the first day of school. You're going to see us in the schools. If you want us to meet with the kids in 10th grade about a subject, we will be there to do that.
The contract between the sheriff's office and the city will last through December 31st. Goodhue leaders still plan to create a new police department, but say it will take time and anticipate the contract with the county will be extended. An alert from the Olmsted County Sheriff's Office as we head into a beautiful weekend with many people who might be enjoying local parks. On Wednesday, a car was broken into at Chester Woods Park around 2:30 p.m. Olmsted County deputies were called to investigate a theft. A woman went to the park near Iota to wash and use her boats around 11 a.m. While she was on the water, someone broke into her vehicle and stole her purse and wallet. Within an hour, she received a notification of unauthorized charges on her credit card. Items were bought from stores in Rochester. Deputies say they received a call that her purse and wallet was found abandoned along 50th Avenue Southeast. The cards were missing. The Olmsted County Sheriff's Office is reminding people not to leave important personal items visible in your vehicles. One local man is a hero after saving another man from drowning at Foster Aaron Park. A little after 2 yesterday afternoon, Rochester resident Ken Hartmark says he was with his brother at Foster Aaron Beach when he noticed people in the water pointing to something. That's when he realized someone was drowning and laying on the bottom of the body of water, and he sprung into action. Hartmark says he dove 3 times to bring the man he ultimately saved to the surface. He then performed CPR on the man until paramedics arrived. EMTs evaluated the man and determined he was well enough to not need hospitalization. Hartmark says he learned CPR from multiple jobs he's worked and owes his work as a Good Samaritan to the fact that he kept renewing his certification.
CPR saves lives. I was able to give him CPR as I was in the water, bringing him back. But I'm just, thankful that I was there and able to save him. To save him and to see someone come back alive. This guy's a brother, he's a son, he's a father. And for us to be able to do that, we need to look out for each other.
Rochester police later confirmed the event, saying the quick actions of a nearby citizen ultimately saved the man's life. Well, speaking of heading outdoors, our David joins us from the weather patio, and it's a little bit different than what we've seen the past couple days here, David.
Yeah, Zach, I would definitely say it's been a little different than the past couple of days. We did have a big warming trend that happened throughout this week, and we saw heat indices, or it feels like temperatures into the upper 90s and lower 100s, and it is warming up outside here too for this afternoon. Taking a live look now overneath Signal Hill. Beautiful skies, a little cloudy outside, but temperature right now is warmed up from the upper 70s into the lower 80s at the moment, with mostly cloudy skies. Still a little humid though this afternoon at 72 degrees outside, but our heat indices right now are pretty much on par and matching what our air temperature is outside, so it doesn't feel too hot. That is going to change a little bit into this afternoon, but currently right now on our radar, not tracking much, but our next weather maker is going to be from the north at this cold front from this low pressure system that's going to be swooping down through our area this afternoon. These might fire off. I'm anticipating some stray showers, potentially a storm, but overall we could see those come into the later afternoon hours around 4 and 5 p.m. But we are going to be warming up today into the 80s. I'll track out these potential for these showers and a potential for storms in my full forecast coming up. Zach?
All right, David, thank you very much. Certainly looking forward to that. Well, happening today, 2 members of Congress are hosting a rural health care roundtable to hear from providers about a range of issues impacting the industry. Minnesota 1st District Congressman Brad Finstad and Iowa's 4th District Congressman Randy Feenstra are hosting the event. They will hear from providers serving southern Minnesota and northern Iowa about challenges they face in meeting health care needs in rural communities. These include workforce shortages, supply chain backlogs, and increasing costs due to inflation. The event takes place from 3 to 5 p.m. at the Hormel Institute in Austin. Well, today, a reason for you to say Opa. Greek Fest is now underway. Greek Fest has been a summer favorite in Rochester since 1963, and locals are back enjoying all the food and fun right now. You can enjoy the festival in person or get some authentic Greek food on the go through their drive-thru. There's food, entertainment, and even some craft beer. We're looking live at the lunch crowd gathering on West Center Street in downtown Rochester right now. You can get in on the fun until 8 tonight and tomorrow, and then it ends on Sunday at 4 p.m. If you are interested in the drive-thru option, the entrance for that is at the intersection of 7th Avenue and Center Street. Also, there is free parking at Mayo Clinic parking lot number 30. That's between 6th and 7th Avenue and 1st and 2nd Street Northwest. You can feel good about the food you purchase as proceeds supports a nonprofit offering free housing to Mayo Clinic patients. And we'll have more on this Rochester tradition continuing tonight here on KTTC. Well, starting this weekend, the nonprofit Mothers Against Drunk Driving, or MAD, is teaming up with Minnesota law enforcement to help stop impaired driving ahead of the busy week leading into Labor Day. In 2021, 130 people in Minnesota lost their lives due to alcohol-related driving crashes, according to the nonprofit. Saturation Saturday begins a 10-day effort to saturate communities with facts, tips, extra patrols, and sobriety checkpoints. MAD is partnering with several agencies around the state to reduce drunk driving, including the Olmsted County Sheriff's Office. The campaign runs every day through Labor Day. And tomorrow, the Austin Artworks Festival will kick off. This two-day event is a salute to visual performing and literacy arts located at the heart of downtown Austin. This festival is free to the public and is expecting up to 10,000 visitors. Austin Area Arts, Mower County's biggest arts nonprofit, is hosting the event. And it begins tomorrow at 9 a.m. going till 5 p.m. and on Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Chastity Brown will play at the Paramount Theater at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Tickets are available online. A featured artist this year is Heather Friedley. Her work will be on display at the Austin Artworks Center on the second floor gallery. You can find some great art display at the Minnesota State Fair as well. Creators from all over come to showcase their talents, among them an artist from Wabasha, Bertie McBride of Lake Superior Drift Co. She says the fair is hot, but exciting and wonderful. She says her business got its start during COVID.
It started with Mississippi because we were quarantining and
I suppose, did you live in Wabasha?
yeah.
Okay.
So we were on Lake Pepin and I fell in love with driftwood, but then you have to bleach it if it comes out of the river. And Ed said, well, if you want to see driftwood, we're in the wrong lake. And we went north, and then I fell in love with Lake Superior. So then we brought some home, and I started playing with it, and then this happened.
Bertie describes her State Fair booth as a very zen place, maybe a place to escape the crowds for a moment. You can find her in booth 62 of the International Bazaar. Well, just ahead, a warning for parents about those popular first day of school photos. Law enforcement has a few important reminders to help protect your kids. And the pandemic may be over, but the trend of online learning is sticking around. We'll check in with Austin Public Schools, where the option to learn from home is getting more popular after this. Welcome back. Well, online school became the norm during the pandemic, and as we've learned to live with COVID and return back to in-person classes, some families are opting to stick with the virtual learning. Our Darian Letty caught up with a principal of a local online school to learn more about its growing enrollment numbers.
So if I were in online school, this is what my classroom would look like versus a more traditional classroom with desks and a whiteboard. Austin Online Academy is a virtual school ran through the Austin Public School District. It's been up and running for the past 2 years, and enrollment is hitting a record high this year with around 80 students. How it works is the staff will work with families to build a weekly schedule that works for that student. Then students will log on to their classes and complete their work through the week at their own pace. Students can even supplement classes through the online school when the majority of their classes are taken through PSEO at Riverland College in Austin. Online students are still able to participate in sports and other extracurricular activities and even walk across the stage at graduation. Something the school is looking to add in the coming year is more opportunities for social interaction to bring in that social element students get from traditional in-person school.
So we're going to try to do quarterly events where our students can get together in person. Obviously, we can still go to all the Austin school events, but like let's do a drop-in and go to a movie, or let's do a drop-in and hang out at a coffee shop, just to continue to build that social muscle in interacting with the people that we interact online, but then in person.
And if you'd like to learn more about the Austin Online Academy, we'll have a link to their website on our website, KTTC.com. Back to you guys.
Well, parents are certainly proud of their kids, and posting back-to-school pictures of them online is almost expected these days. However, police departments across the country are reminding people to be mindful of the details in those photos so you don't expose your children to potential harm. Authorities say any social media post should be made with caution. They advise don't take a picture of your child in front of their school, since that gives away where they attend classes. Pictures in front of your home can also show where your family lives.
even if you have your privacy settings really locked down so that you only know who's seeing it, it's still the internet, and you never know who is going to be able to see and access that photo. So with that in mind, when you take those back to school pictures, the ones that you want to share online, keep the details minimal.
Officers also say if you decide to make a sign for your child to take a picture with, leave off details like last names, grades, and even the teachers' names. Well, here's an easy way to make a difference in the local students' lives. The Rochester Alternative Learning Center is currently accepting donations from the community to help support their students. They are currently accepting clothing, shoes, hygiene products, and non-perishable food items. The hope is that this support for their lives outside the classroom can help them focus on their futures. And we have all the details on our website, KTTC.com. Well, your midday markets are right after a quick check with David.
Hey, Zach. So we do have some showers and storms that will be going through our area today from a weak cold front that's coming through. I'm tracking all that out and more in a cool down coming up in my full forecast. Here's a look at today's farm market.
Missed part of our newscast? KTTC has you
Live from KTTC, this is a First Alert weather update.
Thanks for sticking with us. It's time now for a check with weather. David Burgett is joining us once again, and it's we were very hot the last couple of days, and then all of a sudden we got a shift today.
Yeah, we're seeing a little bit of a shift slowly but surely, Zach, with the hot temperatures and the heat indices across our region. But today, I'm going to guarantee it's going to be the last hot day for at least the week. We do see beautiful skies right now overlooking our region at the moment, and Lake City has some partly cloudy skies there. Rochester and Assisi Heights do see more cloud coverage building in, and that's kind of going to be a little bit of the story today. But we did have some rainfall that moved in earlier this morning that stayed mainly to the south of us towards the northern Iowa portions of our viewing area. So about 1/4 of an inch here in Charles City, and over here to the west of us in Spencer, over 1/2 an inch worth of rain, while over here in Austin and Rochester, just over a trace. Not tracking much on our radar at the moment besides some cloud coverage that's moving out. Our next weather maker is going to be potentially for this afternoon, as this cold front up here from this low pressure system sitting in Canada is going to it's going to slowly droop on by and roll on by into these later afternoon hours, firing up potential for some stray showers and potential for some storms. So right now across Signal Hill, taking a live look right now, 81 degrees in Rochester, partly cloudy skies. Still a little humid though with the dew points into the lower 70s, and temperatures sitting across the region into the lower 80s and into the upper 70s here near Charles City, and then in Osage for our northern counties into northern Iowa. So taking a look at our heat index for today, we were mentioning this heat trend that's been happening this week. We are going to peak into the upper 80s, lower 90s maybe by this afternoon, but we're going to dip back down into the lower 60s for tonight for overnight low. And you might be wondering, how much of this discrepancy are we going to see between our feels like temperature and our actual temperatures? Not too much, because we're going to be into the mid 80s today for our high temperatures. But after we get through this and these showers today, we're going to get bright and mild for today, and then seasonable for this weekend, and then seasonable temperatures by next week. Timing this out for you this afternoon by 4:30, you do see these stray showers start to pop up near Decorah. Temperatures into the mid 80s for that hour, and then we will go back down to the mid to lower 50s and 60s for Saturday morning. We're just waking up. Winds are going to be out of the northeast for tomorrow, and then at 5:30, our temperatures will be sitting into the upper 60s and lower 70s. And by Sunday, with the turn of your new week, we'll be sitting at temperatures into the mid 50s. But we are going to see these temperatures stick around for the rest of the week into the 70s for our highs for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, but the dew points are going to be much more mild into the lower 50s. So tonight, mainly clear, again, 58 degrees. Some cloud coverage slowly building into there, but if you're going to the State Fair tomorrow, you are going to have some nice temperatures into the forecast, with temperatures for the high tomorrow sitting at 72 degrees. We're going to be a little warmer, probably into the mid-70s, and lots of sunshine to go around and some cloud coverage. But after that, it is looking very nice through the rest of the week with more seasonable temperatures and a break from this humidity and all this heat we've been experiencing this week. So much more ideal temperatures and lots of sunshine on the way, which is good.
Yeah, that is good. And like you said, the break is, I think everybody's kind of ready for the break. And who knows, this might be the shifting of the tide as we start to head into September here.
I hope so. I love fall weather, and I think a lot of people do up here as well.
I think so too. Well, thank you very much, David. Looking forward to it. Well, pearls are treasured gifts and are often prized possessions. And the story of how they come to be is fascinating. We'll dig into that in our moment of science.
Minnesota Vikings preseason football is back. Watch all the games on the
Grace Kelly once said, pearls are the queen of gems and the gem of queens. Dan Smith shows us how we get those shiny spheres from seashore to string in your moment of science.
Whether it's mined or manufactured, we've used jewelry to adorn ourselves throughout the millennia, but there's only one gemstone that comes from a living creature. This week, we're diving into the world of pearls. Oysters are the most common producers of pearls, of course, though only 1 in every 10,000 of them actually produces one. Other types of mollusks, such as clam or mussel, can make them as well. The process starts when an irritant gets right inside between that hard shell and soft mantle. Sounds a little bit like earth science. Contrary to popular belief, though, that irritant is usually not a grain of sand. Parasites or even small food particles often serve as that nucleus, sort of like how white blood cells surround bacteria to protect the rest of the body. Oysters secrete a substance called nacre that keeps layering on and hardening to protect itself until at least 6 months later, one of nature's most beautiful defense mechanisms creates that little calcium carbonate pearl right in the center. Most people think of white pearls, but of course there are other colors that may be well out of many of our budgets. Black pearls, for example, are highly sought after and are only found in the South Pacific Ocean. Saltwater pearls tend to be glossier and usually rounder than their freshwater counterparts, but that's only if they're naturally occurring. Most natural pearls have already been harvested, so nearly all the ones on the market today are cultivated, but are still organic all the same. We've improved techniques over the years to farm our own, such as cutting a slit in between that shell and mantle to all but ensure you get a pearl to form. Baroque pearls are the ones that form their nacre unevenly, and while it's maybe not perfect looking in our traditional sense, you can get some amazing results. Pearls deteriorate over time, and even with proper care, the smaller ones generally last 150, 200 years, depends on the thickness of that nacre. But in 2012, scientists found a single pearl in a gravesite overseas that was dated at 7,500 years old. By the way, the largest known pearl is also the most expensive, 75 pounds, worth a cool $100 million. So fellas, start saving up now for Valentine's Day. For this week's Moment of Science, I'm Dan Smith.
And here's Howard with what's next in the kitchen.
We all hear how good beans are for us. So let me share one of my favorite recipes that highlights a bean that's super popular, yet is often left out of most bean recipes. Any ideas? I love beans. And when I say beans, I mean every kind. Everything from green beans and baked beans, which make the perfect side dishes, to navy and kidney beans that are perfect in our soups. But my all-time favorite bean is probably the cocoa bean. Yeah, the cocoa bean. According to the dictionary, chocolate is a food prepared from ground roasted cocoa beans. So, if chocolate is made from beans, and beans are a vegetable, wouldn't it make sense that chocolate is a vegetable too? I think it is. So now, let me show you one of my favorite bean recipes. To make this chocolate zucchini bread, we combine some flour, sugar, baking powder, and baking soda, cinnamon, salt, and cocoa. In another bowl, we mix together a good amount of grated zucchini, a few eggs, vegetable oil, a bunch of pecans, and a splash of vanilla. This gets mixed with our dry ingredients, and into a couple of loaf pans it goes. After it bakes and has cooled, it's ready to slice and serve. And since this makes 2 tasty loaves, you can eat one and gift the other. To get the recipe for our chocolate zucchini bread, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a chocolatey veggie way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Howard really threw us for a loop there with the beans, but chocolate zucchini bread actually sounds pretty good. Well, when it's so hot it feels like an oven, why not dress the part? This police officer in Ames, Iowa is poking fun at the heat by wearing oven mitts as a joke. The city has a new record high for August 23rd after hitting about 100 degrees. And thankfully we're not seeing that heat though today, David, although those oven mitts might have come in handy with how hot the inside of cars got the last couple days.
No, I don't doubt it, Zach. It's been very hot here, and I would personally have oven mitts if my steering wheel was that hot and my car's out in the sun too. But we are warming up here today throughout much of Rochester and Olmsted County. A beautiful live look right now at Lake Pepin. You can see that there was one boat earlier, I think it was a pontoon boat going out onto the lake earlier, and it's just flat water, so it's beautiful out there with temperatures in Rochester at 81 degrees, mostly cloudy skies, and then we do have the humid dew point at 72 degrees, so it's still a little bit in that humidity, but our heat indices across the region at the moment are going to be almost matching or a little warmer right now than we were about a half hour ago than our air temperature. So our feels like temperature is about 4 degrees, 5 degrees cooler in Rochester, but not tracking too much on the radar. And had some showers that moved down south today into northern Iowa that are out of the region. But we do have this cold front that's going to be swooping on through later this afternoon that could fire up for some showers and potential for a storm, for some stray ones through this afternoon into this evening. So by hour today, we'll be warming up into the 80s. I'm going to let you know in my full forecast just how hot we're going to get today, and we're going to track out these showers and storms for you. So I think it's pretty nicer today than it was this week, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, David. Thank you very much. Definitely look into that cool down for sure.
Yeah.
Well, a major fast food company is no longer family owned, and One Kitchen's trash makes for some good animal nutrition. Plus, you've heard of all-nighters. A unique event is getting underway at this hour in hopes of filling a number of job openings in our area. Stick with us.
Our exclusive report from a lab.
If you've been thinking about making a change in where you work, there's somewhere you might want to be today. Express Employment Professionals is recognizing the large need for staffing in Rochester and southeast Minnesota. The organization is hosting a 24-hour job-a-thon. It's getting underway right now. In addition to grilling out and a chance to win prizes, you can also interview for a job right on the spot.
We're very excited. Again, it's wonderful to have such an amazing staff, and they're all on board and excited about spending 24 hours at work. I mean, who does that, right? But we're excited. We have fun together, and so we'll, like I say, we'll have bonfire in the wee hours of the night, and we'll just make it fun for ourselves and anybody that cares to join us.
The event runs until noon tomorrow at the Express Employment location on North Broadway Avenue in Rochester. Well, the Rochester Police Department recovered a stolen handgun and a stolen car while investigating rival groups of juveniles. RPD delivered 7 knock and announce warrants in Northwest Rochester yesterday afternoon. 2 warrants were served at 43rd Street Northwest. 1 warrant was served at each of the following addresses: on Barron Lane Northwest, 59th Street Northwest, Lexington Lane Northwest, and 41st Street Northwest. In addition to the stolen gun and stolen car, police seized materials used to make ghost guns, including a 3D printer, computer, toolkits, and gun parts. A 16-year-old male from Rochester was taken into custody and is facing charges of felony possession of a weapon, person under 18, and possession of stolen property. Several other juveniles are expected to be charged in the weeks ahead. Well, we throw a lot of food away in this country, but that waste could soon have a new use. Details in today's Ag Day Minute.
I'm Clinton Griffiths with today's Ag Day Minute. The Pro Farmer Crop Tour wrapping up day 3 of its annual trek to check on corn and soybean conditions across the key growing areas. Now, in the west, scouts focused on western Iowa, where high heat and dryness are putting stress on things, while out in Illinois, a dry start to the growing season flipped after a derecho brought heavy rains. Scouts seeing corn yields improving in the state by 1.5% from last year, and about the same for soybeans. Food waste is a problem in this country, but there may be a solution. The Association of American Feed Control Officials taking a step toward establishing a new definition for dried recovery household food to be used as animal feed. It allows for the processing of kitchen scraps into feed for chickens. Now, one California-based food recycling service sees it as a sustainable approach to helping feed the growing global population while also cutting methane emissions. And Subway has a new owner. It was purchased by the private equity firm Rourke Capital, ending the chain's near 6-decade run as a family-owned business. Terms of the deal haven't been disclosed, but the Wall Street Journal reports that the purchase price was around $9.6 billion. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on the station anytime over to agweb.com.
Ag Day Minute brought to you by Jen Bush. Your experience.
Live from KTTC, this is a First Alert weather update.
Good afternoon, meteorologist David Burkett here. We do have some building cloud coverage in over Rochester and especially in the CC Heights. But looking at Lake City, it looks a lot nicer today with some mostly sunny skies out towards the lake and a flat lake for some good boating. We do have some showers that rolled through this morning, bringing some heavier rain to the west of us in northern Iowa at Spencer, just over ½ an inch. And then over here in Charles City, in Mason City, we did have over ½ inch. And here in Rochester and Austin, closer to home here in Olmsted County, we did see over a trace worth of rain. So not tracking much on the radar at the moment besides some dissipating showers that are moving down to our south of our region here. But we do have our next weather maker that's going to come into play this afternoon into the evening hours too. And that's going to be this cold front that's sitting off here to our north in this low pressure system that's firing off some showers here into Duluth and Minneapolis area. You could see some stray showers into this afternoon, but currently right now tonight, we do have, right now across Rochester, we do have 81 degrees for the current temperature. Some mostly cloudy skies and some dew points that are into the lower 70s across the area, making for some humid conditions. But currently our temperatures are sitting in the lower 80s across the region, which is much nicer than we experienced this week. So 79 in Osage and Northwood here in Worth County at 81 degrees for the current temperature. But our heat indices, if you're worried about that today, they're going to take a slowly build up into the upper 80s today and then take a little tumble down through the rest of tonight for our overnight lows that are going to be much cooler than we experienced this week. But our temperatures be a little cooler than our heat indices into the mid 80s today at 85 degrees and at 84 degrees around 5 in the afternoon. So not too much of a discrepancy between those temperatures, but we have to get through those few showers today and then so bright and mild for this weekend and more seasonable temperatures as we make our way through to the start of next week. So there's going to be a cool down, but first we got to track this out for these stray showers and a potential for a storm today across our region. Currently, it is 87 around the region, mid 80s, and then around 4:30 today, you did see a few stray showers popping up there. Now we're going to say it's mostly getting to the mostly dry point in today, and that tomorrow morning when you wake up, temperatures will be in the mid 50s, winds coming out of the northeast right now, and then by when we wake up on by tomorrow afternoon, we will have temperatures into the mid 70s and lower mid 60s across the region. And by Sunday, the start of your week, you will have temperatures coming out of the east more now with temperatures into the 50s. But this trend of this is going to continue over the next week as we have more seasonable temperatures through Sunday and Monday, taking a dip down into next Tuesday and Wednesday for our high temperatures next week. So mainly clear for tonight, 58 degrees. Going to the Minnesota State Fair tomorrow, I will say, going to be around the mid to low 70s for the high. Lots of sunshine if you're heading up that way tomorrow, and the cooler temperatures are on the way. Back to you, Zach.
All right, David, thank you very much. Well, Trader Joe's is announcing the recall of a popular product because it could be contaminated with metal. And if you are one of the millions of Americans with unused gift cards, spending them could actually give our economy a boost after this. Nearly half of all Americans have at least one unused gift card voucher or store credit just sitting there collecting dust. Consumer investigator Rachel DePompa finds out how much money is going unspent and talks to an expert about why this could help you bust inflation.
We get a lot of gift cards in our lifetime, but make sure you don't forget to use it. According to a new Bankrate.com study, 47% of Americans have at least one unused gift card. The average person has about $187 worth of unspent gift cards, which adds up to $23 billion nationwide.
That surprises me in the context of high inflation, high interest rates. Unused gift cards are real money. It's basically the store of value that you have lying around. So I actually view this as a real inflation busting tactic, which is take an inventory of what you have and come up with a plan to use it.
Ted Rossman, a senior industry analyst with Bankrate.com, says go through your house and find all your gift cards. They could really help you out in a tight spot right now, while prices are higher because of inflation.
Friend or family member's birthday or holiday gift. You could even consider regifting the card itself. Or finally, resale sites like Card Cash and Raise. They'll often give you something like 70 or 80% of what the card is worth.
People still like gift cards, Rossman says. According to the National Retail Federation, every year gift cards are number 1 or 2 in terms of the most given and most requested. It's not that people don't want them, it's that we stick them in a drawer and forget about them. This is your reminder to go find all your gift cards and make a plan to spend them. With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Rachel DePompa.
Well, Trader Joe's has issued another recall. The company says its multi-grain crackers with sunflower and flax seeds might contain metal. Yeah, you heard me right, metal. No injuries have been reported, though. The recalled boxes have best if used by dates from March 1st to March 5th of 2024. Customers who have the product should throw it out or return it to Trader Joe's for a full refund. Last month, Trader Joe's recalled 2 types of cookies because they could potentially contain rocks. And some of your favorite items at Dollar Tree may soon no longer be available, and it's all due to an increase in thefts. Dollar Tree's chief executive and chief financial officers told analysts in a call Thursday that the company experienced a 30% drop in gross profit margin in its latest quarter. The retailer blamed the decline on changing consumer demands on top of higher prices for fuel and electricity and shrink. That is the industry term for losses due to theft and damages. Now, as a way to combat theft, the company says it will be placing some products behind the cashier, locking certain items up, or even discontinuing certain items in stores. These changes will also be implemented in Family Dollar stores, which is owned by Dollar Tree. Well, you've heard of moonwalks and moon bots, but moon trees? Well, we'll tell you what those are and why you might start seeing them around our area just ahead.
In the Backyard, sponsored by Customer.
Well, NASA is inviting organizations to apply for their own moon tree. They're just like regular trees, but moon trees are grown from seeds that flew around Earth's natural satellite. Nearly 2,000 seeds were on the Artemis mission in 2022. They include sycamore, sweet gum, sequoia, and pine trees. The Forest Service has germinated them into seedlings that are ready to be planted. Only organizations like schools, museums, science centers, and community groups can apply for one, and they have until August 6th to do so. That's pretty neat. It looks, you would think that they would grow at least.
Yeah, I mean, I would apply if I was able to. I would probably apply for one, but and have it in my backyard. But I'm not a school, or I'm not one of those organizations, of course.
Right.
But
Yeah.
we did have pretty good weather for that today. But yeah,
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining in. We'll see you at 4 for Midwest Access. Have a good day.